But the more powerful form of leverage is who's on your team. So I'm going to ask you a question. If I gave you an opportunity to build a world-class team of A players, and the only people on your team were A players, I mean 7-footers. These are the Kevin Durants. They can do it all. If you only had a team of A players, how many of your existing problems that you have right now would go away? Disappear. It turns out the problems that most of us are dealing with are not even really the problem. Eunice, this is where I need a little whiteboard, if I can get one.
If you only had A players on your team, how many of your existing problems would disappear? Now, the reason that I look around this way sometimes is because that's my computer screen and I need that to keep me on track, keep us heading where we need to head. Right, so today we're going to have a look at how we attract, keep and grow A players, because the current hiring system is broken. I'm going to read you this description that my AI did for this particular episode, because if you go back to the episode before, I'll show you how I use AI as a strategic thought partner. I actually used it live inside an episode. So when I start this episode, he actually writes the copy for this. It's getting pretty damn good. So the headline was, "Stop Hiring Strangers, How to Track A Players Without the Bullshit." That's exactly what I would say. All right, if your hiring process still relies on resumes, rushed interviews, and praying for culture fit, tell me I'm wrong. You're not hiring, you're gambling. In this live episode, I'll show you the exact shift we've made to attract real A players, not resume warriors. Okay. So we want self-starters, smart problem solvers, people who actually give a damn. We'll break down why hiring processes attract the wrong people, what A players really want, which is not what you think. How to use signals, not slogans, to build culture during the hiring process, and the one change that flipped the script for us on site. This episode is for anyone building teams, growing a business, or just sick of the turnover, which is damned expensive. Hire is broken, and we are here to fix it. Okay. All right, let's get you locked onto the board, which is, can you see the board well enough there? Should be able to see well enough. We'll bring you in a minute if you need to get in closer. Let's run through a little story and see if this resonates with you first, just to make sure that we're on the right track here. All right, so the big idea always comes from something that my dad said to me years and years and years ago when we were apprentices, and we wanted resources. He always said we want extra cranes, we need extra people, we need extra tooling. First thing he would say is, you're not using what you already got properly yet. So this is not just about hiring A players. Actually, we're going to go through a little process later on called the bullshit eliminator process, and see whether you actually need to hire first or whether you need to develop. You've got the talents and the skills already sitting within your business. You're just underutilizing. But let's assume for a minute we do need to hire someone. So this is probably what your process looks for. This little story, I reckon, will call out exactly what you're doing at the moment. This is you up in this corner here. You're busy. You've got heaps on, too much to do. You just need some help. There's way too much going on. So we got to get someone else in this business to help us out with whatever it may be. When we look at what sort of person do we want, or our cultural fit, this comes from a video from, you've probably heard of him, a guy called Simon Sinek. And he's worked with teams like the Navy SEALs. He said they use this formula for selecting team players. So they want is when the players come in, or someone that fits in with the Navy SEALs, one of the most highly performing organisations on the planet, they would, obviously, everyone wants a person who is high ability, and high trust sits up in that corner there. That's what we're looking for, these A players. They would rather they would rather have a person with lower ability, high on trust, down on this corner here, than have this person up here, which is high ability, no one trusts them. No one thinks about this when they go through the interview process. Quite happy if you do. Tell me I'm wrong. Anyway, so we're looking for the person that fits up there, obviously, but ultimately we want to bring people onto our team that we can trust. Your process probably looks a bit like this. So it's slow. Down on this quadrant down here, we've got slow and hard. Okay. So what we want to do is move from slow and hard, from slow to fast. And we want to make the hard simple. This should be easy. It should just flow. Two things that you need to look at down in this corner that are keeping you in the slow and hard is what you're doing. How do you go through the process that creates it, makes it slow and hard? And then what are they doing? Where are they actually sitting? What's going on in their life at the time that they reach out to have a look and see what your business is all about or consider coming to work for you? A players, anyone that wants to perform, wants these three things. This comes from Daniel Pink's book, Drive, The Surprising Truth About What Motivates Us. I want autonomy, spell bunny. They need autonomy, purpose for getting up in the morning and coming to get their life up to help you build your business. And I want to be able to drive towards mastery. I should make an improvement here, or I didn't actually have much choice. This board's jammed right in this corner here. I've got to make sure I don't put too much text in this corner anymore. All right, you're busy. We know we need to get someone that's high trust. Well, high trust is the minimum. That's the minimum standard. When a high trust, even if their ability's down a bit, we can build that. But we need them in the high trust column up here. We know at the moment it's slow and painful, your hiring process, slow and hard. We want to move up to simple and fast. So this is a bit of a timeline of what it actually looks like. We think, we'll just get someone in. Shouldn't take long. Okay, typical visionary trait. I used to work with a visionary. I used to call him Maggie. 2 minutes. He thinks everything takes 2 minutes. That's you, which probably is if you're running a business, a visionary type person. You think everything happens like that. Just get someone. Get an ad out. Get someone in here. Get them in quick. Week one, we put an ad out and then we get some resumes through. We start reviewing them. This is, even if you've got this much time to put into it, this could take longer than this. So week two, start bringing some people in for some interviews. Week three, we want to start doing a second round of interviews. Maybe we want them to come meet the team, see a little bit more about the business, find out a little bit more. We're going to make them an offer and they've got to accept it between weeks 4 and 8. They've got to give notice where they're currently working, which could be anywhere from 1 to 4 weeks, and they have to actually start. So what you think, this shouldn't take too long. We just need to get someone, just find someone and get them here. I'm using my hands again. The camera starts tracking me when I wave my hands around. What you think, typically, Maggie, 2-minute noodles, that'll only take a day or two or a couple of days, very quickly turns into 8 weeks. This is why we want to upskill people that we've got, if we've got them, if we have them, and we probably have. I'll show you where that talent's probably hidden in your business. We'll go into that. We'll have a look at that. Here's a little chart of what it sort of looks like just down here. So you do the interview. Come to the first interview, they might be straight out, gone, okay? Do a second interview, maybe go, not for us. They go, you're not for me. They're out again. Get them past the second interview, we get them to the offer. They go, don't know if that's enough. And you go, they want too much. They could drop out again. Got got past that, we got the offer, got them accepted, and I've had this happen. I've had this happen with a guy in a little fabrication shop. His offer, accepted the offer, he was ready to start, and he just never turned up. Never had that happen before. So you get to accept, they can still drop out, you're back to square one again, back to out. Same with the start, they could turn up, start, worse still, they turn up, start, and you don't want them to stay. So you can very quickly end up back here again, and have to go through this whole process just to get back here again. So now you're probably thinking, Bainey, what we'll do is we will now, because we're super smart, right? We will outsource the hiring. All right, what that does, if you want to bring, so we're going to shift the problem to someone else. A couple of issues going on here. A players know that if they've got to go through an agency, they know roughly what's got to happen on. They know this is going to double up. They're going to go through all of that with the agency, and then they're going to go through all of that with you again. So that 8-week start time's probably out another 12 weeks. Truth be told, the agencies might be a little bit better at interviewing. They might have had some training on it. I think they're wonderful. They know all about finding a cultural fit. They're not in your business. You need to find a cultural fit. They're going to go through basically the same process as what they've done there anyway. Their processes aren't any different, and I've been through this just recently because I've been looking for a job, and I'll show you how I'm actually reversing this. I've reversed this process from the opposite side of the flip side of the coin. Okay, so this is looking at from the business owner side. I've looked at it from what I call the entrepreneur side as well. So me wanting to get interviewed to get into a job. I'll flip the process, it's called a $97 interview. I'll show you a video on that in just a minute. Good players, your good A players who want autonomy, mastery, purpose, they sit up there in this section right up here, high ability, high trust. They don't want to go through all this bullshit twice. Go to an agency, then have the agency decide whether they're going to progress. Then they've got to come, and then they're going to go through with you. They just want to deal with the horse's head, not its backside. Good A players don't want to go through agencies. I won't even go through them anymore. They're a waste, complete and utter waste of time. They're the ones that I've dealt with, and they're the ones that are on LinkedIn posting about how great their culture is, how many awards they won for their process, and how wonderful they are. Don't get back to you on time, never follow up when they say that they will. That's my experience of agencies. And I'm not talking about fly by the night or just lay hire companies. I'm talking about the ones that are putting themselves up there as being the best. All right, so what happens throughout this whole process? Use up a whole lot of your time. Actually, let's see if we can get a little bit closer here for you so you can see this. You burn a whole lot of your time. You burn a whole lot of your brain power on a poor process. The scales, the odds of you finding this person sitting up in this top corner in here are not tipped in your favour. They're against you. The whole thing, whole interviewing process, pretty much an experiment. All right, so the takeaway is you keep following this process, you're never going to progress out of this corner here. You're going to stay in the slow and hard corner down here. That's the problem, Bainey. You're thinking, how do we fix it? I'm going to show you, let me show you right now, a thing called the $97 interview. This is the flip side. This is me flipping this process on its head and getting employers to come to me and me, both of us, interviewing each other. Because as Seth Godin says, I can't work with you until I work with you. Watch this. Why would you pay $97 to interview me? Well, it's pretty simple really, because this isn't an interview, it's a test drive. Traditional hiring is slow, painful, and risky. One wrong move and you're stuck with the wrong person for months and possibly even years of stress, sunk costs, and damage to your culture. So here's a smarter way. Come along to the $97 interview session and I'll show you in real time exactly what I do. I'll walk you through how I align teams, remove bottlenecks, and build momentum inside your business and your projects. You'll get to see exactly how I think, how I lead, and more importantly, how I perform under pressure. No fluff, no BS, no pitch. You'll either want to work with me or you won't. And at the end of it, if all else fails, you'll have a practical strategy that you can plug into your business tomorrow. Seats limited because I only work in groups of 5. And there's a very specific reason behind that. If you're serious about finding someone who can move the needle, not just manage the chaos, DM me the words $97 test drive and I'll send you some details so you can grab your spot. All right, see how I completely flipped the process there. Position myself really well. I'm the A player that sits up here. High trust, high ability. You can see already by watching this video this morning that my ability is high, particularly in social media side of things, marketing. It's high in a number of different areas for a number of different tasks. The trust, you can go back through my YouTube channel, watch all my videos and very quickly see how and what I do, how I build teams. And that's just they come along and see I can't work with you until I work with you. That's that piece of the puzzle. That's why I'm running the workshop like that. Right, we spoke to before, do we really need to hire? Maybe there's potential within your business that you just, not maybe, there will be potential in your business that you're just wasting. I'm going to play a little clip. You go and watch this.
So the 8th waste, the final one, is a weird one. Skills.
It's a weird one, but it's the biggest one.
Okay.
And there's a reason that's we've kept the best to last. This is the biggest waste in every organisation. Again, we've said it a few times, people think waste is physical. It's the physical stuff that you can see. The biggest waste in any organisation is the waste of untapped employee genius. There's untapped potential in every single person in your organisation. So why are we not asking them what they think? One of the biggest wastes is not using the creative ideas of your people. So we have 65 people using their brains every day, their creative thinking, their brainstorming, they're coming up with ideas, they're coming up with improvements, because the genius lies in each and every person within your organisation. They have the answers. They're the people doing the work, but why do we not ask them? And this is the biggest waste of all. It's bigger than the other 7 put together, the waste of untapped potential or the waste of employee genius.
Biggest waste of all is untapped employee potential or employee genius. The reason that we waste that is because we're not actually fixing the real problem. We're fixing what we think is the problem. We're fixing treating the symptom instead of fixing the real problem. What we're looking at today is how we fix the real problem, not just treat the symptom. This is vitally important. I'm going to throw across to a guy called Keith Cunningham. Now, Keith, I don't know whether you've read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad or not. Keith was Rich Dad from Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Now, where have I put? He's written a book, fantastic book, called The Road Less Stupid. I should put this on me while I'm walking around here. I must have it outside, not in here. All right, wrote a fantastic book called The Road Less Stupid. One of the key learnings out of that, well, one's thinking time, the other one is being able to separate a problem from a symptom. So this is a short clip. Now, just to give you context around where this comes from, this is a talk that he's doing at a program called Genius Network run by a guy named Joe Polish. People pay between $10,000 to $100,000 a year just to attend these events. This is high quality content. Keith knows what he's talking about, super smart. Problem versus, not problem versus solution, problem versus symptom.
If you don't have clarity on the problem that is, you'll be tactical instead of strategic. So I say, I'm 10 pounds overweight. What do I want to do about it? Well, as long as I view the problem as being 10 pounds overweight, which is not the problem, that's the symptom. Hello? Hello? Are you with me on that? Being 10 pounds overweight is not the problem, that's the symptom. But as long as I identify being 10 pounds overweight as being the problem, then what I will lurch to is, okay, should I buy a jump rope or should I join a gym? Should I buy Oprah's latest diet book? Or should I get a personal trainer? Oh, I know what I'll do. I'll get a piece of home exercise equipment. That's what I'll do. If I just had a Peloton bike in my house, then I would get in shape. Which is why most home exercise equipment and most diet books don't work. Because it's a tactical response to a tactical question. As long as I'm dealing with the symptom, I'm going to be dealing in tactical. And once I say it's not a tactical issue, I need to be strategic and think of strategic and identify the problem it is. So here it is, and then I'll stop, Joe. If I don't have clarity on the problem that is, I'll build a machine for the problem that isn't. Which is what we do 99% of the time. We identify the gap, call it the problem, when in reality it's the symptom, and we're highly tactical in our response because we have a tactical question that we've asked, which winds up sabotaging our results. If you tell me your sales aren't high enough, I'm going to say that's a symptom, not a problem. If you tell me you don't have enough profits, if you tell me you have a crummy culture, if you tell me you have weak employees, if you tell me your balance sheet is screwed up, I'm going to look at you and say all those are symptoms. What's the problem?
You don't have clarity on the problem that is, you'll build a machine for the problem that isn't. All right, let's have a look at this. How do we build a machine to attract A players? I'm going to go from what we're doing at the moment, which is hard, want to be simple. Slow and painful, we want to move from slow and painful to fast. We want to move out of this quadrant here, up into this quadrant, right up here. How are we going to do that? All right, let's just mark this off as we go. Down in this corner down here. So, as Keith said, right, we've got reality. This is where you are at the moment. You know you ought to be able to be up here. We look at that gap and we say, what's going on for you? What's happening for you that you're calling the problem in that gap is, number one, you're in a hurry. Okay? That little person that we saw before. A lot of shit to do. I don't want to spend hours and hours interviewing people, finding them. Just give me a resume. Find someone that ticks all the boxes. We'll talk about that in a minute. That's a problem as well. So in a hurry, you're using a resume as your guidance. As Chris Voss says, a resume loosely correlates whether someone could do the job at some point in time. You're treating it like a box ticking exercise. We actually even say this when we interview someone. How good were they? What do they look like? What do you think? Oh, they ticked all the boxes. All right. For them, what's happening is you're in a hurry to get someone. They're in a hurry to get out of where they are. So they're probably pissed off with where they are. Or, you know, they've got something going on in their life. They need to make more dollars maybe it's just not paying the bills, what they're currently doing. So they're not really looking to come and work for you for the right reasons. And they're pissed off where they are, they're sick of it, they've got shit, whatever, or they need more cash. That's their key drivers. Their resume, they know if they don't game the system, this is why a resume loosely correlates with what someone could do at some point in their time, they just make it say what you want to hear. Because they're not going to get a look in the door if they don't. Keyword stuffing is one that happens with this now because the recruiters all went to get automation and stuff to get. Recruiters actually do this quite a lot now. They try to automate as much as they can. They want to take the people piece out of it because it's slow, painful and hard, which it is, the way that they're doing it. So they want to deal with them, so they just want to be able to pull your resume. Though resumes are written to your job description. And if that's not a red flag straight up, it should be. All right, box ticking exercise. They're just going to tell you what you want to hear. It's in their best interest too. What you want to hear, okay? All this is keeping you in a loop down here. You're in a hurry. Hurry's not your real problem, it's a symptom. You're relying on resumes. People are lying on their resumes or embellishing on their resumes. That's not the problem. That's a symptom. You're using it as a box ticking exercise and they're telling you what you want to hear. That's not a problem. That's a symptom. The real problem is we're not giving them the three things that they need or they want out of Pink, Drive by Daniel Pink. We need to tick some boxes off here. Resume focus in a hurry, treat like box ticking exercise, explode in the slow. Resumes tweaked to match the system, frustrated in their current role, looking for a quick fix. The next best thing. That's why they're looking for you. We've done reality versus output. Emphasize the real issues and the gap. We've done that. He did a good job of stepping me through this. All right, fast and simple. First of all, we need to know what an A player looks like. When we say we want these high ability, high trust people, what they actually look like. Keith has a system which I have adapted a little bit. So first thing that they want, high performer in that top right hand box, they want a scoreboard. They want to be measured. We can knock a lot of people out of the process just by saying this is how we're going to score you and how we're going to build your future together. Okay, scoreboard. Second, there's self-status. Do you reckon I might fall into that category? How many people do you see looking for a job that are running an interview process to interview the employers and then giving them information on how to interview better? That's what self-starter does. 3, they need to own the problems. So they don't just come running to you for every fix. Part of the problem, if this is happening in your business at the moment, I hate to tell you this, it could also be yourself as well because you're micromanaging. You've created a system where everyone's reliant on you, which again is a symptom, not your real problem. 4, they want coaching. They're hungry for feedback. They'll be asking questions like, what development programs do you have in place? Now, that doesn't have to mean you've got to go and hire external coaches to be able to do this. You might have a certain skill set that they want to learn off of you. It might be about you spending some quality time with them, upskilling them to take some of the work off of you so you can move on to bigger and better things. They're smart, street smart and seasoned. Street smarts, I call it. They not just know the job, they know how to act within a team? How to when they're at work, everyone else is better in your team. They train in their own time. This is the key indicator for me. If you take nothing else away from this, other than this, train in their own time. I'll show you something in a sec. Over here, if we come this way, books, piles of them. They're not there for looks. I've read pretty much all of them. There's another pile up just above. Let's go up. See if I could show you. Up above my desk there, which are the ones that I use on a regular basis. Okay? How they upskill themselves in their own time. What podcasts do they listen to? Building a hot side hustle. Really good indicator. That one. How curious are they about what your business is doing, what its purpose is, and where it's actually going? So I can cross all them off. That's what an A player, everyone says, oh, we want A players. To me, that's what an A player looks like. 3 things that I mentioned earlier that we need to be able to give them. Autonomy. You need a purpose. What's the purpose of your business? Okay. What's its legacy? I prefer legacy. One of the key purposes that we've got is that they're going to come here and get better. Autonomy. And a drive, an ability to be able to master what they're doing. How are you going to help them get better and progress through your business? How we do this, how we create this, is via what's known as a lean leaders group. And this is how, if I was hiring people, I would flip hiring process on its head. This is part of the book, Lean Made Simple by Ryan Tierney. It's a 12-step process, 12 proven steps for creating a vibrant lean culture. So step 1 is it starts with the leaders. 2 is hold a morning meeting. 3 is create a lean leaders group. I will be speaking to how we are implementing this on all my social media all of the time. If you go and have a look at Seating Matters, you'll see how they do it. You go and have a look at FastCap, you'll see how they do it. And I'll tell you what, well, here's the proof in the pudding for you, okay? They both have people queued up. They have a waiting list of people to get in to work in their business. They don't do anything magical. The work that they do ultimately is fairly mundane. Seating Matters makes seats for people with healthcare issues. FastCap makes little bits and pieces for people that are doing home improvements and stuff like that. Go and have a look at their businesses, have a look at their sites, have a look at the engagement in the people that are actually working there. They're not building rocket ships, they're not flying to the moon, but they are creating this purpose, autonomy, and mastery. So the way that we do this to bring out A players is you have that on your socials once a month, once a fortnight, whatever it is. You have a lean learning group. They come along to it. You put an event on. Buy some pizzas, some beer, wine, whatever it is. So have a group meeting once a month. This is what we're doing. This is where we're heading. These are the sort of people that we're looking for. You want to get in the door with us. You want to be with us. You want to play with us. Kobe Bryant used to say, want to win a championship, come play with me. If you want to be number 2, go somewhere else. Come along to our Lean Leaders group meeting. Meet us. See what we're doing. See what we're all about. It might take you 2 hours a month to be able to do that. And you could get someone who's in your business to do a lot of that. Do you think that that process there, posting some videos on social, getting people to come to a group meeting that like to be scored, because you're going to talk to this in your content, right? So they like to be scored, they're self-starters because they come to a meeting and they could be doing something else, going to the pub anywhere else. they're going to own their problems. They're going to want coach. They want coaching because they're coming to this group meeting to see what it's all about. They've got street smarts. They know, hey, this looks a lot better than anything anyone else is doing. And they're training in their own time, coming along to your group meeting. That's how we foster what Dr. Eli Goldberg used to call a poogie. And that's how we use that poogie to bring in the players high in ability, high in trust. If they're going to come along and do that, they're going to be in that high, pretty certain they're going to be up in that high trust column for you to start with. The ability, if it's low, we can build it by creating this. Purpose, autonomy, mastery. You get him so you need to go work away on these parts of your game. When you come in to play with us, you need to be able to do these things and do them very, very well. Oh, I didn't step you through the bullshit abolish funnel. All right, so how do we know if we need to hire? This will actually move you out of, at least get you to, what we got. It is simple. It is fast. Just trying to work out which quadrant we put this in for you. We'll do it here. Bullshit abolish process works like this. The guys I already spoke to, that was Ryan Tierney from Seaton Matters, was one of those lads in that video at the start, the one that did most of the talking. Talked about, he's the one that's got people lined up to come into his business. So you're wasting up the potential that's already there. This is, ever worked in the construction industry, this is a hierarchy of control, bastardised for business purposes. At the top of the hierarchy of control, we're going to try, this is how you manage safety risk. We do the same thing with our time. The quickest way to fix, or the most certain way to fix a problem is to eliminate it. We can eliminate having to go out and hire someone by having a look at him within our business and saying, we've got someone that's got the same skill set that we already need. Just eliminated the whole interview process. If you could spend 1 or 2 hours upskilling someone that's already within your business that could take some more on, bringing them up, giving them purpose, autonomy and mastery, rather than going through a whole interviewing process, hours and hours and hours, and not even knowing what the end result's like. At least you know what the person that you've already got is like, whether you can quickly upskill them or not. So eliminate it. Second one is, can we automate it? Do we even need to hire another person? Can we use AI, like I showed you in the previous video, which does a lot of my copywriting, stuff like that for me, helps me with being our strategic thought partner. Could you use AI to free up some of the time of the people that you've already got? Next one is, can we create a clear process so that people can move from slow and hard to simple and fast, quick. Something quick and simple and easy for them to be able to follow. Last one is, then, can we delegate or hand it off? That's how you move from here, slow hard, up to here. There's a few videos that I'll need to show you before we go, just to give you some more context around how this works, why it works, and what it does. Don't be disheartened if you think, oh, we're shit. We're down here in slow and hard. You're not in there on your Pat Malone.
The world is dysfunctional. Organizations are highly dysfunctional. And those people that do lean correctly, no one can touch them. The differential is not, 50%, 100%, it's 600%. They dwarf everyone.
That's Paul Akers. He's the owner of FastCap, the president of FastCap. He's talking about how much better 2-second lane, he created 2-second lane, which is all about making a small incremental improvement every day. Part of this 12-step, lean made simple process. Ryan Tierney started with his, and then he's created it himself and within his business. Started off what Paul does, and then he wrote this book. That process is everything you need to do that process. You don't need to hire me. Everything you need is in there. You want to do it better, faster, and quicker? I can help you do that, but you don't actually need my help to be able to do it. What you do need though, the world's dysfunctional. You can get far better results, as Paul just said. He talks to his people do stuff up to 9 times better, but they're exceptional at it, right? When he's saying 600%, it's going to take you a bit of time to get there, but you could certainly double your results or do a lot better than what you're currently doing inside 12 months if you follow this process. This is what Keith calls the yellow brick road.
We have an idea of what we want, but there's no yellow brick road. This is Oz. We're in love with Oz. I've heard so many business owners tell me over the years, this is my dream, this is my vision. I go, I'm good. You're telling me about Oz. Build me the yellow brick road. Show me how to get from where you are to Oz, and then I'm on board. But just because you become very adept at describing Oz doesn't give me the clarity that I need to be an investor or to support you if I don't have clarity on the plan. So the plan, the strategy.
Tech's not quite working right today. So the plan is in about page 3 or 4 of this book. This is the yellow brick road from where we currently are, slow and hard, to simple and fast. It starts with leaders. You've got to own this. Your leadership team must get on board. Second one is you hold a morning meeting. Not once a week, not once a month, not when we feel like it, not because we're not doing it today because we're in a hurry and we're too busy, and it's not a box ticking exercise. Every day, daily stand-up meeting, 15 minutes, 15 minutes top. That's why this clock's here. When I used to run this on site, I use it for 2 reasons. So I work in 50-minute blocks when I'm actually working, what's called critical focus time, and then I'll take it back to 15 minutes. Everyone comes to my meetings. They know to be there on time because I have a saying that is plastered on the whiteboard. Early's on time's late. Bob Vince Lombardi. Most people are there 5 minutes early. We start the meeting, 15 minutes, we're counting. There's structure in there. First 2 minutes is a set amount of stuff. Then we talk to top 3. Constraints, 15 minutes. Not War and Peace. Quickly, short, sharp, and get everyone focused and heading in the same direction. Create a lean leaders group. We spoke about how to do that, how to get those people and how to not just use the lean leaders group for the people within your business. This is how we're going to create these A players. A players like to be scored, self-starters, own their problems, want coaching, got street smarts and train in their own time. That's how we do that. We create an example area, so don't go and try this, do this through your whole business as well. When I start on site, I always start with a whiteboard up, like I've got just here. I start with a bookshelf, and I've got some short videos on this as well. It starts with a shelf. I've always got a bookshelf up, and there's a few props, a marble, cricket ball, and a football, which are based on Scrum. Don't try and change the world overnight. Start small and leverage up. Teach people to see waste. There's heaps of videos on that. Google, what have I got? An Australia Day story about the 8 wastes. Adam Bean. That'll teach you how to see waste. The waste that we're tagging here is the 8th waste, which is called untapped people potential, untapped human potential. Attack that one first. Focus on that. Don't worry about the other 7 wastes. Attack the people waste first, and all the rest of it will fall into line. Introduce improvement time, which is time we set aside when I said about Paul Lean and Paul Akers and 2-second lean. 2-second lean is all about making small incremental improvements every day because they compound. They don't add up, they compound. And then bigger things come out of that where we get massive improvements in processes. Introduce Yoga 10. The way I do that Yokotan is disseminating information laterally across the organisation. The way I do that is with video and like this now. This is Yokotan for the construction industry. Take this stuff away and use it. I'm disseminating the information across not just the organisation, the entire industry. We make improving easy, a thing called a lean cave. Solve your inventory problems. We're starting to get into the bit more of the technical side of it now. We create standard operating procedures. We talk to here. Process, how does we go from A to B and make it from slow and hard to simple and fast. Implement total ownership. Well, would you start doing that with these people just here? And connect with other lean enthusiasts. If you're in the construction industry, I've got a platform on school, skool.com/scrum, SCRUM, which is where I connect the people that want to learn this stuff and take this stuff, theory, constraint, scrum, lean, into the construction industry and use it. I'll give you a red hot tip, but if you come in, the worst thing that you can possibly do is, after watching this video, is go, I just saw this video that Ben is talking about, it's fantastic. Things are going to change around here, we're going to do this. Don't do that. That's not how you create change or drive it. You have to take a sheepdog mentality rather than a pit bull mentality. I'll let Ryan explain this one.
The world is dysfunctional. Organizations.
Hang on a sec. I need to... Just give me 2 secs because I have to find a video for you and get it in there because I've got the wrong one. As much as I've prepped and got this ready to go, the sheepdog versus pit dog video is not in the right spot. Give me 2 seconds and we'll start with the right one.
The world.
What's your culture like? Well, you can see by the habits of your team.
Wow.
So culture is group habit. So how do we change the culture? We do it really, really slowly and really, really gradually. And my father often told this story. His father, my grandfather, was a sheep farmer.
Oh, wow.
And quite a small farm in rural Ireland, rural Northern Ireland. But my father he always related change, whether it be change in an organisation or change in thinking or any type of change. The best way to create change was to make change slow and gradual and incremental. And explained that when my grandfather was rounding up the sheep in the field to try and get them into a pen, he used a sheepdog. Why did he use a sheepdog? Because the sheepdog was really slow, moved around the edge of the field, kind of hid in the grass, but quietly and confidently, over the space of a few minutes, got the sheep into the pen. The sheepdog got the desired outcome, but it was really slow about it, really, easy, working slow, whereas the bulldog goes in and splits all the sheep up.
Right.
So what a lot of people do when they come across something like lean or they come across some new concept that they get really excited about, they go back to their company like a bulldog and say, we're going to do this. It's called lean manufacturing. It's going to change our company. We're going to reduce all this waste and everybody has to improve and this is the new way forward. Well, I can tell you right now that that's the wrong way to do it because we actually done that. We were very much like the bulldog at the start and I had to think back to my father's teachings and think more like the sheepdog. So how do we get the non-believers on board with lean? How do we get people to engage in making small improvements to their job? We start very slow and very gradual. And if somebody doesn't get it, that's okay. Just leave them for a month. Don't try and don't push it. Just use pull instead of push. Just leave them alone for a few months and come back to them in a few months. Focus on the people that do get it and try and make that number bigger instead of trying to go wide and get everybody involved. So the best use of a lean leader's time or a business owner's time is to focus on the people that really get it and make that group grow really slow and incrementally. And don't worry about the people that don't get it because they will get on board. They absolutely will.
Yeah.
Or else they'll decide that it's maybe not for them and they may move on. But we haven't found that. We haven't really found that. most people got on board because we tried to do it gradually and, and easily.
Key takeaways from that with Ryan is culture is group habit. Tattoo that on your forehead, put up on your wall, whatever it is. If you don't take anything else away from that this video, take that. We do it quietly and confidently, like a sheepdog. Pull, not push. Pull people into the system, don't push it onto them. Focus on the people who get it. Don't go in like a bulldog, try and chase, barking, yapping at everyone, try and chase everyone into the system overnight. It doesn't work like that. Now I'm going to try something here, which is always a worry when I try something. We're going to see if I can throw this overlay in, which I believe that I have. I'm going to see if I can get myself back up here as well. Am I still coming through? Have I still got audio there? I believe I have got. Options, output, overlays. New image overlay, new camera overlay. ABS spot virtual. Oh, look at that. Go Bernie, it's your birthday. Let's do a recap of where we went during this video. We started up in the top left hand corner here. We know we're busy. The big idea is we're wasting way too much talent within our business. We're not using what we've already got properly yet. When we're looking for people, we're looking for a cultural fit. We want high trust, high ability preferably, but we'd rather take high trust, low ability, like the Navy SEALs. We're learning from the Navy SEALs with that one. At the moment, we can be stuck in slow and hard, or we can move to fast and simple. Paul Akers says it best in 2 Second Lean. He said, you add complexity to anything, you'll flummox your people and flummox the brightest minds. Complexity stalls traction, will slow things down. This needs to be simple. That's what's called lean, made simple. Only way I can make it any more simple is to say lean, simplified. All right, we know that it takes way longer than we think it will, optimism bias, to get someone on board. It can be up to like somewhere between a 4 to an 8 week process to try and get someone decent on board. Right the way through the process, we run the risk of ending up right back down the bottom, which is right back at the start after we do our interview, second interview, offer, accept, start. We're knocking all that out. If we go back to the bullshit abolish it process by creating our lean leaders group, a group meeting, we should knock all that out. It sits up the top here. That's what it's designed to do. It's designed to eliminate everything that's sitting down in that corner there. So you're not spending heaps of time on it. Your bandwidth, your brain power is not getting burned on it. You're going to tip the scales back in your favour by creating that lean leaders group. We are going to experiment, but we're going to experiment with something that's going to give us drivers forward all the time. Continuous learning, PERGI, practice, not practice, process of ongoing improvement. All right, let me see if I make myself a little bit bigger here before I go. Last thing I'm going to leave you with, of course, is if you're looking for someone that can, as I say, you don't need me to be able to do all of this. But if you are looking for someone that can help you move slow and hard, and this is not just about your hiring process here, this is about everything within your business can move through the same funnel. Move from this slow and hard corner up to the simple and fast. If you're looking for someone, likes to be scored, self-starter, owns the problems, wants coaching, got street smarts, and is willing to train in their own time, head across, have a look at the $97, actually I'll play the $97 video for you right now. And if you think we might be a good fit, reach out, message me the words $97 interview. I'll send you some more details. Speak soon. Why would you pay $97 to interview me? Well, it's pretty simple really, because this isn't an interview, it's a test drive. Traditional hiring is slow, painful, and risky. One wrong move and you're stuck with the wrong person for months and possibly even years of stress, sunk costs, and damage to your culture. So here's a smarter way. Come along to the $97 interview session and I'll show you in real time exactly what I do. I'll walk you through how I align teams, remove bottlenecks, and build momentum inside your business and your projects. You'll get to see exactly how I think, how I lead, and more importantly, how I perform under pressure. No fluff, no BS, no pitch. You'll either want to work with me or you won't. And at the end of it, if all else fails, you'll have a practical strategy that you can plug into your business tomorrow. Seats limited because I only work in groups of 5. And there's a very specific reason behind that. If you're serious about finding someone who can move the needle, not just manage the chaos, DM me the words $97 test drive and I'll send you some details so you can grab your spot.